Welcome to the Back in the Bay Magazine podcast show. My name's Dave Dale. Today, our guests are from Photo Metro, celebrating 70 years of business here in North Bay. I have Noel, Tremblay, and Alex.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for coming in.
Good being here.
Now, I've been a customer off and on for many years, and you guys have been very strong supporters of the magazine, so thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the 15th edition of the Back in the Bay magazine is actually coming out at the end of this month, the fall, and it's a nice milestone for me. But it's not 70 years. So
No.
how does it feel to be able to, be involved with the business in North Bay for 70 years?
Oh, it went very quickly, I guess, in my part. It feels good to make it this far, and Alex is determined to take it on for the next 70.
Yeah, that would be nice. Let's enjoy being part of a business that's got 3 generations and it's been around for 70 years. It's
Yes, that's
really neat thing.
That's an accomplishment.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you were only 4 years old when it started up, I guess. If my math is correct.
Yes, I guess I would have been only 4 years old. The family moved from Chapleau. That's where it all began. My father and uncle started out in the basement of the family home and then built a small building on the property where their house was. And that's where they started. And it wasn't called Photo Metro or anything. At that time, it was called Gamma Photo. And one of the representatives from Kodak convinced them that they were never going to make it in such a small town. And North Bay was suggested, and they picked up stakes and moved the family and their business to North Bay.
Good decision.
Yeah.
Because you guys have been fairly successful over the years. You've
It's taken a lot of hard work. My father and uncle worked long hours. The building they built on Lakeshore Drive was our family home in the upstairs and the business downstairs. I recall my father and uncle, after supper in the evenings, would go back downstairs to the lab area, and they worked in the evenings, and so it wasn't easy, but they built it up into a successful business for the next generation, my generation, to take over.
Well, that sweat equity that people put into their small businesses so it can grow is essential, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
How many hours a week do you work or trying to get things done?
Oh, probably between 60 and 80 hours a week. Yeah, it's...
And what's your role with the business?
I'm pretty much all have taken over except for the I guess the shares in it. I'm running it. I make all the decisions. I do the pricing. Yeah.
All the management stuff.
All the management stuff, especially the social media and all that. I decide where we advertise. Keep the online managed because I'm the new generation that understands all the new technology. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you're doing now that you didn't do before that just sort of brings you into the modern digital world?
Probably like they did start the online printing, but I'm really pushing the online part. making sure that everybody knows, oh, you can do this all from home and just pick it up in the store. Make sure that everything in the store can connect via phone, because some people don't even have computers nowadays. So make sure they can print from even just documents from their phones, print their images from their phones.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah. Make sure that videos on phones, I can transfer them to DVDs, or trying to make sure that all of the digital stuff can still be archived in a physical form for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still enjoy all having prints, and I have a whole folder at home that I need to send you guys to print up, because it's a different feel, and I like the fact that I don't have to depend on digital memory banks for me to be able to access something just in case, right?
Yeah.
I'm a bit old school like that.
It is good. I mean, I never go through folders of pictures on my phone or on my computer, but I will pick up an album every once in a while and look through albums. So it's just seems to be the more better way of
it's tactile.
Yeah, it's tactile,
and it's it just seems better. I have one of the a few displays where the photos just go through, but and I'm on the computer way too much these days, for sure. So you're just inundated with stuff. But so when I look through my old archives and just to go through the envelopes and to go through the stuff, it gives me a break from the computer.
Yeah.
Right? What you're shooting as a photographer? What do you do for yourself?
My own photography basically is family archiving, like
Right.
Pictures of the family and pictures of our travels. And my father was the photographer.
Right.
And I never really took to that as something I would want to do, take pictures of other people or weddings or so on. He took me out on one wedding and gave me a camera and said, just shoot some candid shots. And I think I was too shy for that.
Right.
So my involvement in the business is from the camera store, photo finishing side.
Right.
My sister took over my dad's part as a photographer and ran the studio for many years.
And what's her name?
Anne Tremblay.
I don't think I've met her. Or
She, she ran the studio part of the company for many years. We, between myself and my siblings, we all took over a different aspect of the business.
well, that makes sense.
So,
Right. What other aspects and what other siblings? Who?
well, I have my younger brothers, Peter and Brian, looked after the photo finishing lab. Our lab did wholesale work for stores across northern Ontario,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a big part of the operation. My two older brothers also worked in that part of the business. I worked more in the administrative part because we actually, when we came into the business, my dad and uncle had a store in Kapuskasing, a store in Rouen, Quebec. They had just opened up one in Pembroke, and of course the one store in North Bay.
Was there one in Aurelia?
No, we had never had one in Aurelia. We had one in Parry Sound,
Okay.
and a store in Espanola. And we, at the peak of the number of stores, I guess, we had Kapuskasing, Kirkland Lake, Pembroke, Parry Sound, Espanola, and 2 stores in North Bay. Sorry, 3 stores in North Bay. The original store that my dad and uncle started, and one in the North Bay Mall and one in the Northgate Square. So,
I actually used the store in Kapuskasing when I worked up there for the Northern Times.
oh,
I used the store in Espanola because I had to get some photography done when I was working for the Union of Ontario Indians. So I was at some powwows down in on Manitoulin Island, and we used to get printed in Elliott Lake for the Nishnawbek News. So once in a while it came in handy. I thought there was a store in Aurelia because I worked down there for a year, but it must have been just some other 1-hour place. And I think I had to stop and get something done in Pembroke. I think so. It was I've been all over the Ontario when I used to do a lot more road traveling, so I was very familiar. And of course, I at the Northgate. When I started at the Nugget in 2000, I had to buy a camera, a better camera than I had, and so I went film. And I shouldn't have, because within 2 years they switched over to digital. Right? So I had this great Pentax camera I bought probably in 2001 that I should have.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good, and I bought it off you guys. It was a different game back then.
it was, and the business has continued to evolve, and things have changed. When my dad and uncle started it, it was they opened a wholesale lab. That was their main part of their business. They had the camera store, and they had the studio, and that was all located on Lakeshore Drive. As kids at the time, it was our summer jobs. Because summertime was the busy time. Back then with film, people took pictures at Christmas time. People took pictures in the summer for their holidays. And the 2 busy times of the year were Christmas and summer. So it always meant a summer job for us. The films would come in the mornings by either couriers or the local delivery we ran, and they would go back out that night. A lot of it went by mail, and the local delivery again.
I know a little bit about that. I worked for Wayne Singleton at Amora Studios when my first job here in North Bay. I was at the front counter, and I was doing framing. And I share your lack of enthusiasm for wedding photography by watching what he had to deal with, and the people he had to deal with, and how he had to deal with them. It wasn't my forte as well when I first was exploring photography as a career, because dealing with people that had their own sort of opinions and critique and special interest in how things turned out. It was just too much to deal with.
Yeah.
Back when you had to do retouching by hand, right?
Right.
And that was hard.
Yeah. Photographing people is not my thing either. I like going out in the street and taking pictures of inanimate objects. And
Yeah, so they don't talk back. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of leaned in that direction too after 40 years of taking pictures of people
Yeah.
doing things they didn't want their picture taken for.
Yeah.
And even the ones that wanted their picture taken, it's sometimes it's hard, right? Because people see they're very attached to their image and what they look like, right? So
Yeah.
it's I know a couple of guys that are in photography doing portraits, and the time they spent to try to get a wrinkle out of somebody's face is just inordinate. Right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to deal with that. And also, I worked in a 1 hour NB 1 hour, and so I was the guy that came in and had to try to clean the dirty machine to try to get prints to come out well. And dealing with old chemicals and 3 different people trying to take care of a processor, and that was not much fun.
No.
No, I inhaled more chemicals doing that than I did all through college in the darkroom.
Yeah. I came in at the tail end of film, so
lucky
I
you.
got to do a little bit of it, but not probably a 1 hour lab. That was about as much as I got to do. You had the wet lab, which was the chemical digital processor, for doing prints. So there was mixing chemicals there.
Do people still try to get film done? Or what do they have to do with that?
It is a huge uptick right now.
Oh, is it?
It's like records. It's on the up. Lots of, I would say, older high school students and college students are all really into the film.
Oh, yeah?
Coming and buying just single-use cameras and getting them developed probably once every couple of weeks, and some other people who have bought old film cameras or inherited old film cameras coming to buy 3-4 rolls of film for a weekend.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. We actually got to the point where I decided to get some old film cameras refurbished. We have a bunch on the shelf.
I got an old Pentax you can have.
Oh, yeah.
You can have it back.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to go back into film.
No.
But that's interesting to hear that. So how much does a roll of film cost these days?
They're around in between $15 and $25, depending on what you want.
Oh, wow.
And on processing, we offer printing option, which is $17, or just digitals to your email, because a lot of them just want digitals, and that's $11. Yeah.
So they just want digital copies of the film negative scanned.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever the customer wants, right?
Yeah, whatever the customer wants. Yeah.
It sounds a little strange in that they take it on film, it gets digitized, and then either printed or sent to them. But
well, I can almost understand it because there's a different quality to the photo in film.
it is, and I know a customer was in just last week commenting about why she was using film, and she says to me, she said it has a completely different look to it.
Yeah, it's I'm not art is art, and so it depends on what people feel, right? And see. I'm not sure if I thought film printed added to what I can do with digital only. I like the clarity of digital, and I like the ability to work with it. I did used to like working in the dark room, trying to save my negatives that I didn't shoot properly. I either overexposed or underexposed, and it was a challenge, right?
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people get that in photo, photo programs, digital manipulation now.
Yeah, you're still saving pictures just in digital.
Yeah,
but film, I guess people like the grain.
Yeah.
And they've coming out with a bunch of experimental film. Like Ilford came out with Phoenix 200, which is a color film from Ilford. And it's got really high grain, but people seem to love it. Something that probably was the opposite of back then, which people were trying to get as little grain as possible with their
we
film.
were trying to shoot for clarity and tightness.
Yeah.
spending a lot of money trying to get the best film for that.
Yeah.
And now that is interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah. What was your father's name? I can't remember.
It was Noel.
Oh, okay. You're named after him?
I was named after him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have just guessed that.
Yeah.
And how long was he a photographer? What do you know about his career?
He after the army, and that was in the Second World War. After he left the army, he worked for Eastman stores in Ottawa, and he went back to Chapleau, his hometown, and he did photography in Chapleau and worked for the railroad. He was a fireman on the CPR, and I believe he felt that with diesels coming out, that his job was at risk. So he and his younger brother decided to make photography their career.
Good choice rather than shoveling coal into a fireplace, eh?
So, yes. Yeah.
Did he happen to work with Ross Sawyer? Because he was in that, he went up to Chapleau to work, I think.
I don't know whether he did or not.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, he's been around in the Ferris for a long time. He went to Nipissing Junction School, and then I think 14 or 15 he went up north to Chapleau to work for an uncle that was in that was CP, I think. And I think he started out that way and saw the writing on the wall,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, my father did a lot of photography in North Bay for weddings and portraits, and he right up until he passed away in 1973 in an automobile accident. So, but up until then, he photographed a lot of people in North Bay.
Any famous people for North Bay?
I don't know whether there were any famous people that he photographed, but
Yeah, and you ever shoot Merle Dickerson or anybody like that?
not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay. No. It'd be interesting to see what weddings and whether or not those people were involved with anything.
Yeah. We get a lot of people coming in saying, oh, your father took our wedding pictures, or your father
All right.
took our family portraits, or so I get that a lot. And
Well, all those negative files that were all backed up are all at Nipissing University now for anybody to go find and locate if they knew that he took either, if they know that either your dad, Noel, took the photos, or if Anne took the photos, they'd all be up there now in their archives.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to reintroduce that conversation so I don't sound like I didn't know that it was your dad. You were named after your dad.
Oh.
So I'm just going to say, tell me about your father Noel's photography career. And I'm going to cut that in and put it before that. So just so you know,
okay.
if you don't mind.
No.
It was a little awkward there.
Yeah.
Let me think. Are there any other aspects of photography now that your store is adapting to, and like now that people are actually getting interested in print again, or what else are you doing?
We're doing a lot of prints on different types of substrate, a lot of gifting. So pictures on mugs, pictures on ornaments. the types of printing now is not just on paper. You can get it on metal, wood, acrylic, gallery, canvases. Trying
I
to
saw
really...
what Jerry Guterham did with his artwork for the show at 176 Place a month ago.
Yes.
I love that stretched canvas look.
Yeah.
I have a collection of stuff I want to put on canvas for sure.
Yeah, and that we do everything in the store. We cut our own wood,
Oh, do you?
print it on the canvas, and do all the stretching ourselves. So that's all done
Oh,
in
no
the
kidding.
store. We have a UV protection spray that we put on it that makes it last a lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really like that. And the printing on metal really gives it quite the effect, right?
It does. I really like the metal myself. I especially like what they call the brushed metal, so you can still see the metal grain
Yeah, yeah.
with color. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try a couple of those too. I keep looking. I'm saving up for it.
Yeah,
Put it that way. Yeah. I want to put a show together with my sister. She's an artist and a painter, but I've been trying to do a lot more photography with. I have a sort of a macro lens, and I like shooting bugs and plants and stuff like that for some reason.
Yeah.
Probably because there's no people involved.
Yeah. The bugs won't talk back.
Bugs don't mind it.
No.
Yeah, for sure. And they're interesting.
Yeah.
So 70 years, and you got another third generation to carry it forward. So that must be quite the accomplishment for your family.
Yeah, we're quite proud of what we've managed to do. And it's been through, I guess, good times and bad times. It's because it's been continually evolving from when wholesale was the way it was done to 1 hour labs and then to digital. It's constantly changed, and we've constantly had to evolve. 1 hour labs were kind of the really impacted the wholesale concept of doing pictures and delivering them out to drugstores, corner stores, so on. With the 1 hour labs, the wholesale volume dropped, but 1 hour labs became a thing unto themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Then with digital's 1 hour labs more or less disappeared. There's been many changes in like through the film days. Kodak was continually introducing new cameras, new film sizes, film types. So it was a constant challenge to keep up and add the new technology.
Yeah, I actually remember shooting. I started out shooting with a 110, right? And you get this little tiny, right?
Little tiny.
And I didn't think they could get worse than that. Then when they did the
little disc.
The disc cameras were the worst, right? As far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
And then they had the disposable ones that were just 110 basically in a box. And I thought it couldn't get any worse. And then everybody got phones and started shooting.
Yeah, I guess that's the latest thing that the phones have really impacted the camera part of the of the industry. It's kind of divided things. Phones are the point and shoot cameras nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the serious photographers that use the cameras where you can change lenses, and so it's kind of a two.
I've gone into video quite a bit, right? So I have a couple Canon camcorders, and at the level I'm at, which is just below pro, because can't afford that stuff. You can take off like a frame, and it's pretty close to what you need to, as far as a reproduction for what I do, right? Quick and dirty web, podcasts.
Yeah.
I can take single frames off most of my video that work for a photo illustration. And I always wish that the cameras would have become more like phones rather than phones more like cameras. Because I really struggled with that, not having a good grip and having my an ability to sort of steady it. I know some of the really, the Apple phones and iPhones have the technology in there for the camera part is just amazing as far as movement and being able to focus and zoom in.
Yeah.
But I'm stuck at the Huawei end of cameras still.
Oh yeah.
And Huawei, whatever.
Huawei. Yeah.
Yeah, Huawei.
Yeah.
So not that many options there, but the optical ability in the cell phones is crazy. Yeah.
It's getting really good. What I've always told people is the true test will be when you go to print it.
Yeah.
I'm still not happy with. I just got the new Google Pixel, which is supposed to be the best phone camera for pictures anyways. And as soon as I printed it, I was still unhappy. It's the print that's going to be
flat,
the...
eh?
Yeah.
It really compresses and you don't get that depth.
No, you don't get that depth, and you can tell, like, lenses are small, and it really doesn't get those smaller details that a real camera can get.
Yeah.
It does very well for 4x6s and family shooting and as a point and shoot. But it falls short for me in professional.
For the shooting I like to do that's with my macro, and I have a zoom, is one of those mirrorless Canons.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, I went that route. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, mirrorless is great. Yeah.
Not good for sports. It doesn't focus fast enough.
No.
But it does everything else really well.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And so that's interesting. You should probably think of, for a marketing promotions thing, is to do a contest with the different phones.
Oh yeah.
And have people print them out to can be able to and have them judged. We should work on something like that.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And test out all the different phones. And yeah, the print, to me, the print was always the true test. Everybody says, oh, it looks great on my phone or on my computer, and your print is going to really show the flaws in it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people with their cameras think they have a really great photo until they go to print it.
Yep. Yeah.
And what do you tell people? Do they blame you, or do they think they understand?
I find a way to get them to understand. 9 times out of 10 they'll understand and know that, because even my own pictures, I have sometimes, this is a really great picture I printed. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's just trash that one.
Yeah. There's no saving it.
There's no saving it. Yeah.
It's very hard.
But 9 times out of 10 I'll get them to understand. People are good most of the time. Yeah.
So North Bay is going to celebrate its 100th birthday next year. Do you guys have any plans to piggyback on that? There's going to be a wave of nostalgia and history coming.
Yeah. Don't have a firm plan yet, but I do have ideas of things we can help to celebrate with. Possibly. No firm plans, but yeah.
You know what I think might be something for you guys to consider, seeing that you have that archive up at Nipissing and you have those, photos, is maybe just do a string of features of families.
Oh yeah.
That were photographed by you guys, and like the family histories are people are really into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe hook up a little bit with the Genealogical Society in North Bay, the Nipissing one. Their branch meets at the library, and imagine if there was a way to, if there's database of names that go with those photos.
Yeah,
that would be an interesting sort of connection and a little bit add-on for them when they're doing their family histories.
Yeah.
Maybe that would help sort of people connect again with Photometro
With
and
Photometro. Yeah,
see some more opportunity there.
yeah. Get some photos
Yeah.
that they didn't see for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, that's something to do, anyways.
Yeah.
Well, we're not far from wrapping up. I'm just wondering if there's anything else you'd like to share with the viewers about Photometro and its 70-year adventure.
No, nothing that I can.
Did we mention all of your siblings and the people involved? Let's run down the list there.
So the oldest is Willa, and then second oldest is David. Then there's my dad, Noel, and then Anne, who took over the studio, and then followed by Peter, and then Brian, who's actually running the studio now on his own, but still going.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that would be the 6 siblings there.
Okay. Maybe what I'll do is I'll drop by the store and do a little bit of what we call B-roll, and I'll grab some video of the different operations and the people.
Okay.
Do it on the day when you guys are there, and that way we can add more people into the image of the podcast
All right.
and
Okay.
be more of a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll make those arrangements, and I'll drop by sometime where
Sure.
maybe most of them are going to be around.
Yeah.
I guess
all
that's
right.
hard to do.
Yeah, the ones that are involved right now are Willa, David, and Noel.
Right.
And then I'm there, and we hired an old co-op student, Taylor, actually.
Oh, okay.
Co-op students become good employees.
Well, that's an interesting thing. A lot of people don't get into doing the co-ops, but you really get a good chance to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
They're there for the right reasons because they're interested. And then, sometimes it works into a full-time employee.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Noel and
All right.
Alex, for
you.
coming in.
Well, thank you.
And again, the magazine really appreciate your support over the years. I love that we have it there and it says the 70th anniversary, and it lets people know that a good business can survive if you adapt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Lots of adapting, especially in this industry.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in again. If you want to subscribe to the magazine, email me at davedale@backinthebay.ca. That's the same email to use for e-transfers. $40, 4 editions. The 2025 collection is going to start this winter, and that'll end up being by the time 2025 is done, we'll have 20 editions out of that series. So thank you for those who have supported. Have a good day.